From a child, I always felt like they got me better than most people got me, and I felt the same about them, that I understood them better than I understood more people. But I think I was doing it all along, I just didn't realize I was doing it. My name is Aileen D'Angelo. I'm a Reiki master teacher with a practice specializing in animals, and I'm also an animal communicator. The idea behind Reiki is that the person doing the Reiki is a channel for the energy, so we tap into the energy and then it comes out through the person's hands into whoever they're working with. Reiki connects on all levels, mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional, and I think connecting on all those levels when I worked with animals allowed me to start getting the things that I get from them. When I'm communicating with an animal, I know there's some communicators out there who say that they actually get words. I don't get words, but what I do get are physical feelings, physical sensations, mental images, tastes, smells, sounds, emotions. And if I'm good, I can take those and translate them into English for their people. That's Peter. Peter Pan's actually here in the state. I'm not sure what town she lives in. I've actually never met him face to face. I've always done distance on him and on his sister when she was alive. I do him every day. I do little mini sessions on him every day. He's got an inoperable tumor in his sinuses. So when I work on him, I primarily focus on the sinus area and on his immune system to just try and keep him feeling comfortable and keep him going. If I'm doing a distance session, I actually have my little surrogate here that I use, is my teddy bear. So if I'm working on people or animals, I can use him however I need to be able to do Reiki. I don't have any questions for him today, so I'll just be doing this session. He apparently has something he wants me to tell Mom. I think she got a little sloppy with the nose drops this morning. He's giving me this feeling of having like a lot of fluid in his nose, and it's like too much. The other thing with animals is once they're done, it almost feels like they close a door on me, and it's like I can feel the energy start to slow down, and I can feel the door starting to close, and then when they're done, it's like, bang, I'm finished. So Peter just let me know he was done. And then what I would do is go send Mom an email. Sometimes I find that it's actually easier to communicate with them if I'm not physically with them, because that way I'm also not reading things into their body language. I always have their people be with them. So when we make the arrangements for the session, I tell them to be with their animal wherever the animal is most comfortable, and then I make the connection through the person's emotional connection to their animal, and then we go from there. A number of years ago, I had a greyhound named George who had gotten very ill on me, and I was not ready to lose him, and I actually remember going to him and grabbing his face in my hands and saying, I can't lose you yet, you can't leave me. And he actually rallied for me. And a few weeks later, another communicator that I had worked with before with my animals and that George had communicated with called me and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but George popped in today and he said he's been trying to tell you something and you won't listen. And he was right. I didn't want to know that he was getting ready to leave me. So I apologized to him and told him that when he told me that it was time for him to go, I would honor what he wanted. And a few weeks later, I lost him. I don't know whether or not you believe in whether or not animals go someplace after this plane, but I do also communicate with animals who have crossed over. I wasn't exactly sure that I was actually communicating with animals that had crossed until a woman in Australia had actually called me and asked me to communicate with her dog who had passed away like 6 months before. So I made the connection to the dog, and the dog gave me this mental image of her sitting like all chest puffed up in front of 3 small boys. They looked like about 9, 7, and 5, and she gave me this feeling like, I've got them. So I told the woman what I got, and she got really, really quiet. And I thought, oh God, I've blown that one. And then she started to cry, and she said, I lost my 3 sons in a car accident. And they were 9, 7, and 5. And the last thing I asked my dog to do before I put her to sleep was to watch over the boys when she got there. In that moment, I knew, number one, I was communicating with animals who crossed over, and number two, I knew that they go someplace too, and that we get to be with them again.
Tell you where the dog walker is actually walking the dog and where they're going. They have girlfriends, boyfriends, best friends. They know the color, they know the month, they know the time. I'm being told thoughts, and all I'm doing is just conveying what I've heard. My name is Janet Kennedy. I am an animal communicator. I'm also a medium. So one of the biggest questions is, how are you communicating with our animals? Well, if you go back to your high school and you go back to science class and you started to learn about atoms, everything that is here that you see and we use and us are all made up of atoms. Atoms are always in a constant vibration. They're always moving. You have to learn how to move your vibration into the vibration that you're working with. So it's a telepathic form of communication. I do it with the owner, the animals, and myself, and we work together, and over a very short period of time, the energies blend, and we all start just kind of getting that information together. Different people read differently. They use different ways of feeling or interpreting the information. So with me, I see pictures, I can feel pain, like if an animal has an upset stomach or something's wrong, they actually bring energy to that part of the body. Sometimes what it is, it's pieces, and then the person will say, do you understand that? And they say yes or no. They say yes, then you go on to the next piece, the next piece, and the next piece. So sometimes what you thought might have been the answer in the beginning might take about 5 more pieces, and then it's the aha moment. Oh yeah, now I know exactly what it was that they were trying to say. I should just ask these people to come over and do a reading on their dog. Well, you know what? Let me ask them and we'll wing it. We'll see if it opens up and works out. Ladies, can you come here for a second, if you wouldn't mind? Have you had him under 6 months?
Yes.
Okay. And so he's saying that I'm starting to get to that threshold of getting used to you, and you're getting used to me, and we're starting to know who's doing what and the routines. Do you know that if he had a brother that was with him, just a yes or a no, it works?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I feel like he was with another dog at the shelter and they got separated from each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So does he doesn't get a chance to see that dog at all?
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to let him know that this other dog has found a home. Do you know that's
Yes,
happened?
I do know that.
Okay. So the other one, and I feel like they may have kids. Would you know if they had kids or not?
Yes,
but
I know the other one has kids.
Okay, so he's just talking about the other dog being with kids, and as long as he ended up with kids, then that's all he really cares about. Usually in the reading, the people are only allowed to say yes or no. They're not allowed to talk, and the reason being they'll tell me the whole story. So my mind wants to fill all the little pieces of that story, but in the reading, I don't want to know the pieces. I want to give them to you so that we know that it came from them. I know. So he said that on the weekends, I don't know if you're really rigid on the schedule during the week, and then it really changes on the weekend.
No, but I mean,
I guess I change it a lot.
I was going to say we do the week walk with Julie on Sundays, and
It's not a bad thing. He just says that there's a dramatic change in it.
well,
though.
we go down to the Provincetown a lot in the middle of the week.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there's a big difference. And my son is home on weekends.
Okay. I don't know the dogs. I don't know their lifestyle or anything else. And so it's up to the person that you're doing the reading for to be able to understand. you have a girlfriend in P-Town? Do you? He sees somebody from afar. I don't know if you take somebody with you when you go on the walks. A lot of
It's
people
the
running their
beach
dogs.
and everybody's got their
There
dogs, but
seems to be a smaller dog, and maybe white, or he has a
A
majority of white.
Papillon, but he's a boy.
Okay. He likes that dog.
He's got a boyfriend.
Yeah. That he considers that dog his friend.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay. So let me just see if there's anything particular. Let's see. I think either it has to do with the morning or it has to do with the evening about going out to the bathroom. So I don't know if you get up later in the morning and so he has to wait a little longer. If you can understand that he needs to go out a little bit later or for a little bit longer at bedtime.
I'm putting a dog door in the backyard because I have an enclosed backyard.
Ah.
Because I cannot figure his bathroom schedule out at all.
Yeah.
He's like a camel.
Yeah.
And he never wants to go when I want to go. And there's been some
Okay.
issues around about
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So that'll work out. That'll work out perfectly for you. Then you don't have to worry.
When you acknowledge something with an animal, like a bit that doesn't fit or a food that they don't like, act on it. It's not enough to say, okay, I'm sorry your saddle hurts, or I'm sorry you don't like that food. Do something about it. Don't ever tell an animal, okay, I'll take care of that, and then drop it, because you will lose that animal's trust. I'm Susan Bartfay to Fur with Love Animal Communication, and this is one of my clients, Leo. So I have communicated in the past with Leo. Leo needed a different saddle, so I'm going to ask him how his new saddle feels. It's a little loose back here. How's the girth? The girth is a little hard. It's a little hard. This is Traveler, and Traveler's person has a few questions.
Traveler, last time we talked, you said that you felt that you needed to have lessons that were in smaller chunks and that were not quite so boring. So I changed the training, and I'm wondering if it's working any better for you.
Yes. What lesson do you like the best? I see you stepping over something.
Yeah, we do a lot of that.
You do a lot of that. Okay. And is there a lesson that you don't particularly like? When the black horse is watching.
Okay, we won't do that again. I have the same feeling, Traveler. That's kind of amazing. Okay.
Murphy was rescued off of a slaughter truck, so he does not let his guard down as easily as the other horses might. But he's a little more wary, a little more hurt. Do you have any messages for Andy or Fred? He likes raspberries.
He wears a lot on his white fur. He'll get into these raspberry bushes or these bushes out here, and he's got some stains. He'll get them on his face or his legs. So
he likes raspberries.
he likes raspberries. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things with animal communication is learning to get out of your own way. We as humans, we need things to be logical and to make sense. And when animals communicate with you, it doesn't always make sense to our human mind, even though it makes sense to the animal. Animals are incredibly forgiving in the way that they learn to communicate with someone. They kind of figure out the triggers that people have and the way to get across what they're trying to get across. And if, as a stupid human, I don't get it the first time, they'll actually come at it from another direction to try and get me to where they're trying to get me to go.
All my work is from an honest place and a loving place. So, and that's anybody that you work with, you always want to make sure that that's their primary goal.